Hey everybody, welcome back to Spirituality on the Road. We're out here on the trail and I just did a short run and that's in my shorts, but I'm just basically, not the shorts that I'm wearing, but the my YouTube shorts. So yeah, I was talking about the topic of ghosting, right? What do you do when somebody ghosts you? Well, I actually started reading some books to just get a better understanding of myself, and I feel like, sometimes when stuff happens in our lives, we got to ask ourselves, like, what is it about me that invites this, So the book that I'm reading is called Your Journey to Being Yourself by Kenny Weiss. And it's kind of along the same lines of some things that I've been talking through with someone who's an expert in Jungian therapy. And it's kind of along the same lines as the topic of some things that we carry with us as adults that come from our childhoods. So I've just been exploring that because we all have different dynamics that are at play in our lives as we're growing up. And no problem. So yeah, we all have different dynamics that are at play in our lives as we're growing up, and it kind of shapes who we are and how we deal with different situations, right? In my circumstances, I look back and I can see some themes, just the way that I am as a person, and I also see some things that are good about the way that I am as a person that may also be things that drive people away. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, so to speak. And I'm not really going to speak to the person that I feel ghosted me so much. We all have our own reasons for doing what we do, and it's completely subjective as to what's reasonable and what's not, really. I mean, within certain terms, obviously we don't want to hurt anybody else or do anything that's inherently wrong, like just certain things that you wouldn't want to do. But aside from that, like, we all have our reasons for dealing with relationships in the various different ways that we do. And I as a person basically have things that matter to me. So I value relationships, I value connections, and I value being your authentic and true self. So that's a really big deal for me. It's something that I try to embody, even if it pushes other people away, And a lot of people might disagree with that way of being in life, thinking that it's not going to help you out much in the long run. But I really beg to differ. There's a lot of situations where you might end up connecting with someone and maybe advancing your life in different ways, forming meaningful connections that help you to get to the next level in your life. And that may not happen if you're always kind of just worried about upsetting someone else or, bothering someone too much. You're the kind of person that some people would say is too much, right? I feel like maybe I'm that kind of person to a lot of people. My energy is pretty intense, and you know what? I do like to communicate, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Can it shoot me in the, can it backfire on me sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. Does it show me who is truly meant to be in my life and who's maybe not, or who was meant to be there for a season and maybe is not meant to be there for the next season? Yeah, absolutely. It shows me that. All these things are really important, and I'm learning these things as I go along. I'm also learning things about myself, like age is a factor with this, like something I'm realizing now. I'm in my 40s now. I'm 41. And if it's a young person that I'm working with creatively, another run through the trail here, music and stuff like that, it's there's a lot of young people who know their production skills really well, and I have met several, and I've got a whole contact list of them that I can work with. And it's always growing. But, I'm just learning that that's not going to be something where it's like, this isn't necessarily a lifelong friend. Even if you kind of start to act like your buddies and stuff, it's like it eventually kind of could potentially wither, and probably will if there's a huge age gap. And it's just something I'm now learning, and it's a different thing, because it's like I can't, confine myself to only collaborating with people who are older or exactly my age, because that may stunt my creative ability to express myself, right? So I'm not going to do that. I'm still going to collaborate with people just based on, intuition and just my own instincts and what I feel is going to really help my projects and stuff. I recently had a guy that I talked to who was making some music that's totally out of my genre, but he was doing these crazy killer harmonies, and I decided, I was like, you know what, let me ask him to do some stuff on a project. And I kind of prematurely sent him some music that I hadn't quite finished, and I still have to send him some more tracks, but I have a vision for it, and I know his harmonies are going to sound amazing on that. But I always have to keep an open mind, it's just something where, me and that person probably aren't going to be like lifelong friends or whatever, but we might, talk shop on some YouTube stuff, because he's also a YouTuber. And if we do some music in the future, I will most certainly, give him a shout out, But anyway, I guess that's pretty much the conclusion of my video on ghosting. It's, we do what's going to be best for us, I'm not trying to sugarcoat things with anybody. At the end of the day, I try to salvage relationships, even if they seem to be going a little south. But if it's 100% clear that it's not going to go anywhere, then I let it go. And that's where we're at here. It's time to let go and just enjoy the nature around us, enjoy the world around us, and just be happy.